Welcome to In the Key Demos Wrestling Review. I am Zero the Hero, and he is.
Not Super Mario.
And we're going to discuss how can the image of pro wrestling change.
Okay, I want to hear your take on this because I am still confused. Now go for
Okay,
it.
so it's a simple question. Right now, everybody, well, non-wrestling fans, because wrestling fans they love wrestling, obviously, but non-wrestling fans, when they think of pro wrestling, they think of cartoony, fake, everything's fake, the chair's fake, the blood's fake, everything is just fake. It's not real. Even though we know it's not real, they really dismiss it, saying that it's just for kids, that just it has a bad image compared to the 90s. In the 90s, even though everybody knew wrestling was fake, they never said it was for kids. Obviously, it had a lot more sexism, but
Oh, early 90s was targeted towards kids with all those gimmicks they had.
true.
Like your favorite, what is it, the Gobbler or whatever?
I don't know. So point is, the it's not about wrestling being fake with people. The image, what I'm trying to say is the cartoony image. So the image has changed, like I said, in the late 90s with the Attitude Era. It was popular. So what happened? What happened from it being cool to not just cool, the best entertainment in the whole world, to kids?
Well, they went sort of back to that, right? Targeting kids after the Attitude Era. Because when you think about it, early 90s WWF was targeted towards kids. That was kind of the best part about it. Like me, they got me as a kid, and then as it evolved or as it changed, I was changing too. Like what I wanted to see was something different, and they did the same thing. Now they're going back, trying to get that younger audience, and it's like starting the process all over again.
But where's the Attitude Era? Where, see, right now they're a publicly traded company. They're forced to be like this. They're never going to be the Attitude Era. USA Network said themselves they want more mature content, but they're not putting more mature content. So what's the problem? What's with the image?
Well, it's today's audience as well. I mean, you can't really put out that kind of content out either. I mean, they were already getting a lot of heat back then, and think about it for the Attitude Era. Think about it now in social media in the age we live in. You can't put on that kind of content in this cancel culture.
Of course, I'm not saying sexism. What I'm saying is, okay, it's like this. It's like, for you wrestling fans, if you watch Ring of Honor, or maybe if you're not into Ring of Honor, maybe a New Japan, which I'm not a fan of, but clearly it's more serious. If you like Power, if you like MOW, promotions like that. Imagine AEW and WWE the same, being sports based. So I believe that if I'm not saying it should be this way, but if every match was like Dax versus Jungle Boy, or a Reigns versus Uso Angle, or a like serious feuds, good matches. If that was wrestling now, if it changed overnight, I believe the image would change, and that's what I'm trying to say, is that it would stop being cartoony. People will like stop saying, "Oh, it's fake." It's they'll actually take it more serious because the wrestlers are taking it serious. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah, what made it easier back in the day too was also that you had WWF, which was very cartoony, but you also had NWA with Ric Flair and all those old school wrestlers that were more targeted to the older audience. Nowadays, that's kind of what NWA provided. It was actually the alternative. Like if you wanted to watch wrestling, I mean, now you have two promotions, AEW and WWE, trying to be different from each other and yet are very alike. And I mean, you don't necessarily have to change the image. It's just every company before was different. It gave you something different. Don't you? Isn't that what's wrong with it? Like every company has to be different.
Okay, so you're basically marketing towards the fans. You're saying not to change the image. Like I
Well,
said,
if you're WWE, you have your image. That's what you're gonna do. And That's what I was saying. NWA had a different image. It was wrestling. It was actually wrestling and targeted for another audience. And that's what we're missing nowadays. Wrestling that's targeted for another audience. With AEW and WWE, like I said, they're basically the same thing. Even though it says TV 14 for AEW, it's still the same, just worse.
So what you're saying is there needs to be either another promotion run by a billionaire or millionaire, which is probably not
Which
going to
won't
happen.
happen.
Go
Yeah.
on TV and be serious,
What?
or B, have AEW or WWE become serious. So that way you at
Which
least.
won't happen.
But let's just say that's what you're trying to say, right?
Yeah, like these companies already have their images, and that's what they're gonna stick to, and that's what's missing. Like that's why I was hoping with AEW that hoping they would be like the actual alternative, but they're not. Like we need that. Hopefully, NWA provides that when they come back. Like we need that old school style wrestling targeted for another audience.
Right. So that's the point I'm trying to make, is that if these companies took it more seriously, the image would change. So, I mean, people still think AEW will change, which it's not. But let's just say if it does, if it starts being like a Ring of Honor, like a New Japan, MOW, NWA Power, do you see the image changing?
I still don't.
Me neither. Why? Because WWE is at the top. Until they change, I don't see the image changing. So, but for the most part, okay,
It's up
now,
to these other companies to make WWE change.
okay, now, think of it this way: if Vince McMahon passes, if Triple H takes over, and he decides to take it seriously, do you think the image of wrestling overall, do you think it would change?
Yeah, I don't know why, but like I see Triple H taking over, and I see more wrestling like NXT. Well, because maybe we've
Not,
seen what he can do in NXT,
yeah,
but his what he does in NXT is like it's more wrestling, and I'm not sure I'm a fan of the storylines on NXT. So I don't know how it would be under Triple H. I actually think it might be a little bit boring as
well,
much as I love
it's
wrestling.
he'll probably hire better creative, obviously,
Yeah,
but
but
but so yeah, so that's I I also believe that if Triple H took over and if he took it seriously, I believe the image of wrestling would change. It would be more serious. I definitely think it would get new fans because I mean, just think about that sentence. If you're taking it serious, people will take you seriously. If you're treating it as a joke, they'll see you as a joke. That's the point I'm trying to make, is that WWE it's all a big comedy act. It's all a big joke. AEW is borders between that too.
I
So
mean, look
nobody
behind me. Ricky Starks is literally getting buried.
look at that. Yeah, it's right
Oh my God! No, that was all. I can't see that. That
there.
never happened.
One of the best upcoming stars, and he's getting his ass beat by a 61-year-old Sting, and they say that Sting that the old timers in AEW don't bury wrestlers. Well, there you go. He's making them
But
look weak.
anyway, but the image changing, nothing's gonna change until WWE changes. I
Yeah.
mean, AEW was supposed to provide something different. I thought like, but they're clearly not. It's basically doing the same thing. MLW's what would you describe it, MLW as?
Sports-based company that has no stars.
Yeah, that's Jacob
So
Fatu.
they need more veterans. And I think yeah, like right now there's just not much veterans. So they're trying to make their stars. Ring of Honor trying to make their stars. So, I mean, after all, AEW and WWE took away other talent or impact. They're there too. So,
Yeah,
it's
but
tough.
the image of wrestling, I don't think it's gonna change. I mean, times change. You can't go back to the old ways. That's my
Anytime soon. But yeah. So with that
so
said, if you agree with me, if you agree with Mario, not Super Mario, let us know. But with that
yeah.
said, that wraps up. And Exciting discussion in the key demos, drafts, and reviews.
Oh my goodness, and Sting and Darby just buried more people behind me. This is just sad. I gotta
Okay,
go and
that's
get, I need a drink. Let's wrap this up. Good night, everybody.